We'll call to order the Board of County Commissioners work session for February 24th, 2015. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among the United cultures.
Thank everybody for attending today. First item on the agenda is to approve the work session agenda. Is there any changes need to come to the work session agenda? Okay, can I get a motion to approve it?
Second.
It's a motion, proper second, to approve the work session agenda. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. The purpose of a county work session is to inform the Grant County Board of Commissioners of the agenda items that will be addressed in the next regular meeting, and for the department heads and other elected officials to communicate with commissioners in regard to matters of their respective departments. In accordance with the Grant County Resolution number 15-01, we welcome the public to attend the work sessions. However, there will be no public input permitted today. So, can we review the February 26, 2015 regular meeting agenda? Madam Manager.
I do have two changes I would like to make before we go through this. We will be removing item O, which is approve, disapprove appointment of 7 shooting range board members. We need to have a more thorough policy in place before we start appointing members. So I think we have the cart before the horse. No, I thought they did, but they don't. So I'd like to put that off until we can address that.
Makes total sense.
And then I need to add, would be under contracts and agreements, we would add, it would become item V, which would be an agreement with Grant County and Tanziffer for the lease purchase of an ambulance for Gila Regional Medical Center. Those are the only two changes I would have.
Okay. I guess we can just start going through it, and we'll start at the expenditure report. I think that's Linda.
Linda, yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He does that. He'll know I'm fixing to ask you a question and ask you one. He does that every time.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The expenditure report that you have in front of you for approval is for expenses from January 7th through February 20th. The total amount of expenses for AP is $2,417,807.60. Included in this packet is a payment to Architectural Workshop in the amount of $9,622.50, and this is for partial payment on task 1 and 2 for the conference center. There's a payment in there to New Mexico State for the co-op extension for their second quarter payment of $16,250. There's a payment to the High Desert Humane Society for the second quarter payment for animal control services in the amount of $16,375. There's also a payment to the New Mexico County Insurance Authority in the amount of $283,971. And this is for the 2015 law enforcement liability insurance coverage. There's also a check to, again, to the New Mexico County Insurance Authority in the amount of $242,584, and this is for the 2015 multi-line pool coverage for liability insurance. There is a payment to Mito Loma Construction, and this is for payment number 4 for the exhibit addition at the fairgrounds, and this is in the amount of $44,912.38. And there's a payment to Stone McGee for $17,501, and this is the final payment for the 2014 audit. And the rest of the AP checks are your everyday operating expenses. And then we have the payroll check reportings, and this is for pay period 1, 2, 3, and 4 of calendar year 2015. And the total amount of those payroll periods are $836,486.42. So the grand total of this packet that you will be approving is $3,254,294.02.
Thank you, Linda. Does anybody have any questions for Linda on the expenditure report today?
I don't. No, sir.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the cash flow analysis, Linda.
This is for the month of December, and this is for the general fund. The actual cash balance at July 1, 2014 was $2,353,926. Revenues through December were $4,468,651, and the transfers through December were negative $1,323,086, and this was a transfer, total combined of transfers in and transfers out. The operating expenditures through December were $1,316,668. The salaries and benefits through December were $2,935,826, leaving us an actual cash balance at the end of December of $1,246,997. The projected transfers in through the end of June 30th are $307,342. Projected transfers out are $1,370,301. Projected revenues are $7,463,603. Projected operating expenditures are $1,478,215. Projected salaries and benefits are $3,554,172. So the total projections through June 30th are $1,360,257, leaving us a projected cash balance of $2,615,254 with a projected surplus of $253,201. The next cash flow analysis is for the road fund. The actual cash balance at July 1 was $120,460. Revenues through December are $320,535. Transfers through December are $333,216. Operating expenditures are $139,935.27, and salaries and benefits $632,317, leaving us an actual cash balance of $1,959. The projections through June 30th, 2015 are projected transfers in $333,216, projected revenues of $682,962, projected operating expenditures of $214,075, and projected salaries and benefits of $665,883. The total projections through June 30th, 2015 are $136,221, leaving us with a projected cash balance at the end of June 30th of $138,180 and a projected surplus of $496. The corrections fund, actual cash balance at July 1 was $26,163. Revenues through December are $479,590. Transfers of $835,132. Operating expenditures of $245,590. Salaries and benefits of $993,894, leaving us an actual cash balance at the end of December of $101,401. The projections through June 30th, 2015 are transfers in of $835,132, projected revenues of $479,949, projected operating expenditures of $403,270, and projected salaries and benefits of $1,013,173,000. The total projections through June 30th, our correction funds are negative $101,362, leaving us with a cash balance of $39 at the end of June 30th.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions on the cash flow analysis? I don't. I think one thing that's probably important to point out that this report is for half the year for the county, and all the major balances, or all the major accounts are over or above the required amount of cash at the end of the year, so, or at the end of half a year. So we're staying right on budget. So we can move to D, Manager.
Item D is, residents from Elias Road want to present a petition requesting road improvements, and they are not here today. Next item is Silver City Arts and Cultural District Director's Quarterly Report.
Do they think they're going to be here on Thursday? Is that what they think?
That's what they think. I asked them to be here today.
Is it on the agenda for Thursday?
I can take it off.
No, I'm just saying if it
It
is,
is.
that we ought to leave them on there.
It is.
Just leave them on there, and that way if they show up, they can...
Have they contacted Anthony?
I think this is their first contact. Okay. They just want to come and ask
No,
us to...
actually, I guess they've spoke with Earl. They've been requesting this for close to 2 years now, and actually said that they spoke with you. It's in your district.
Well, it's been a while, but
It's
yeah,
been quite some time, and-
this is the first time we hear about the petition.
But they did decide that they wanted to present a petition requesting.
Yeah, because when they spoke to me, they asked what was the process, and I told them to talk to Dory.
And that would probably be the thing that we would need
Back
for
then.
Thursday, is just have something in writing. This is your process, go through these steps, and then as fast as we can get it done.
And I did explain that to them, and it had to be in the budget, and there was a process, but they wanted to come before you and express their concerns.
I think we'll leave them on for Thursday then. Yes.
Something else that they're wanting done out there?
I don't know.
They're asking for, like, resurface gravel or
Yeah.
some more base course, or...
I mean, they don't have to go through doors for that.
No, they don't. If that's already a county road, they
It's
just
already
call
got
you.
maintained. But it's like I told them, it all depends on the funding on it.
Isn't this the gentleman that we went out and visited like 3 years ago? You and I?
I think so.
Yes, he did say that you had been out there.
That's the concern. It's not any different than the other 300 miles of dirt road that I maintain. I'm sure everybody wants to have...
Well, and that's the deal. I mean, a lot of people, that even the ones that are chip sealed, are asking you to reseal them, and tell you what, we've got a process for that, and but that's the way it goes.
This will probably just want to express the concerns to the commission. Well, listen.
Sounds good.
Start, John.
Item E, Silver City Arts and Cultural District Director's Quarterly Report. Next item F, High Desert Humane Society Report.
In the newspaper, huh?
Yes, I
Yeah,
saw
real
that.
cold
It was
this
a little chilly
afternoon. She was
today.
at a meeting yesterday with me. She said it was very cold.
Then item G will be the 2014 year-end report from the Grant County Food Policy Council. To give you an annual report. Also from the Grant County Food Policy Council, they are requesting the reappointment of John Song and Ken Barr to the Grant County Food Policy Council for the 2015-2016 term.
So they just asked for the same people to be reappointed, or were we supposed to advertise that?
I couldn't find anything that said that it was supposed to
Either
be
way.
advertised, and they take care of it, and then ask for you to appoint them.
I know they had trouble finding anybody that would even serve. They got somebody that'll serve, that's...
Item I will be approve, disapprove audit report for the 2013-2014 fiscal year prepared by Stone McGee and Company CPAs. This is the official approval of the audit as it was presented by our auditors and approved by the state auditor's office. So that will complete the fiscal year 2014 audit. Item J, approve, disapprove ratification of county manager's signature on consulting agreement between Grant County and Andrew L. Homer, Ph.D., to provide consultation on development of substance abuse program for Grant County. This is an agreement we entered into with Mr. Homer. I signed the agreement because we had the option of the different fees. Part of it fell within my purview, but there's a possibility that they may exceed my limit, so we're going to put it on the agenda. These monies will be paid for out of Commissioner Hall's discretionary funds. And the momentum was moving, and we didn't want to have to, since we only had one meeting this month, I went ahead and signed the agreement so we could continue forward with that process because we are on a timeline with that.
And they were going to be in the state, and we were going to be in Santa Fe. We had an opportunity to sit down and discuss with them for 2 days about our project, and they respond really quick. They I got another email yesterday from them with a lot of valuable information.
And thanks for keeping us informed.
Charlie, I know we spoke about it, so I appreciate it.
So that's what that one is. Item K, approve, disapprove ratification of county manager's signature on EMS Fund Act fiscal year 2016 local funding program for Gila Regional EMS. They missed the deadline on their application and were lucky enough to receive an extension from the state. Brett was in Santa Fe, so I signed. They received approval from the state to allow me to sign on their behalf so that they could submit their application for funding.
That was kind of funny. I got home, they came in that Monday morning, and there was all these desperate phone calls. You got to sign it on Friday. I don't think I'm going to make it.
They did get that submitted. Item L, approve, disapprove the grant distribution funding application for local DWI grant program. Cindy, do you want to discuss your budget?
Morning. How is everybody? Do I need to turn this on? The white one? Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. There we go. Good morning. So it's that time of year again. My grant application is due, and you're looking at the budget. We have like 3 kind of separate pools of money this year. The distribution has been broken down into kind of 2 separate pools this year. If you'll notice on your deal there, it has that middle category, or that one left down here that says HB 16 funding. That was the increase that we're going to be getting from, I think it's 41% to 47% of the liquor distribution money. But they're separated here because we have to spend it on certain things. We had our LFC audit, and the grant council came and said that money will be spent on doing evaluation. So I have my evaluator ready. We'll be spending most of the money, the extra money we get on evaluation, but we do have some extra. Mr. Rickles at WNMU will be doing our evaluation. And so, and then we'll be spending it on that Creating Lasting Families curriculum, which is a parent curriculum, mostly aimed at parents who maybe have been out of their children's life for a while, either in jail or they have a substance abuse problem or something. So we'll be working with the new treatment facility, and because I can't provide treatment of non-DWI offenders with my money, we're going to be doing this, and it'll marry real well on the with what the treatment people are trying to do. So that's in there. And of course, the training costs, we have to travel. There's 2 of us. We have to travel. We have to buy the curriculum and that. And they've allowed us also to put in here, even though we've used bot bins this year, they allowed us to count that as a new or innovative program for us, so I can put the cost of that on here. Botvin's curriculum is going really well in the schools. We've had a lot of very good feedback from it, and we've been invited back already to all the schools we were in, and actually expanded. So we're looking forward to doing that. So that's that extra money. The rest is basically going to what I've done before. We're going to hire a full-time prevention person, keep them this year. Usually we do the seasonal, where they're here in August, they work through the school year, and I'm going to put in for the full-time one because we really are doing a lot. We're up at the jail now on Tuesdays, doing resiliency and communication skills with inmates, and we're working with the social work program to get all that stuff done. We're actually doing some stuff at Yucca Lodge, also, communication and resiliency, and we're out at Cliff, we're just everywhere, so we're expanding, and so I really need a full-time person. And enforcement, we've got, we're going to be helping fund Silver City PD, Baird, and the Sheriff's Department. Those will be doing our saturation patrols. It's overtime, and so we fund that. Compliance monitoring, of course, is very important for us. We have about 150 to 160 clients, and it's very important we keep the compliance monitoring going, or probation. Code of Cantinas, of course, is still in there on the grant, and treatment. We've tried to up that to $45,000 this year. In the past 2 years, for the past 2 years, we've spent, our clients have gone to enough hours to spend $103,700 in treatment fees. So we have a lot of our clients going to treatment, and so we're putting money to that too. Any questions?
I don't have any questions on that, but the last time you appeared before us, you were right in the middle of an audit. Can you spend a couple minutes just telling us how that turned out?
Oh, that turned out fantastic. Yeah, I didn't even get, when he went back, usually I get a list of questions, give me this, give me that. It went absolutely fantastic. There was no problems. They actually, after the audit, asked me to come up and do some training for them for our ADE system, and so I did that, and they're going to take some of the forms and some of the stuff I use and take it to their other counties and use those. So we came out really great. Everything was good.
Cool. All right. Anything else, guys?
I just want to thank you, Penny, for coming to our treatment program and talking to us about the one that you just finished with. And I think we're finding out that a lot of situations like the detention center and your program and stuff are meshing in with the treatment program that we're planning now. So that's good that we're all working together. That was the whole idea of this thing, is that coordination of all the different entities and organizations to be unified. And that's what's happening.
Yeah, that continuum is real important.
Yes, very much.
And having them go with each other and work. So, thank you.
So thank you for your presentation to the group.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything you do, Cindy. Okay. So we'll move to the Board of Registration. Is that you, Ron?
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. In your packets is a list of individuals that were either volunteered or they volunteered themselves to be on the Board of Registration. One from each party and then an independent. I think the names on there are pretty good for this board. The last list that I saw was about 200 voters. There hasn't been a purge probably since 2006, I believe. That's the last time we've purged in the state of New Mexico. And normally the process is, if you haven't voted in the last 2 major elections or any election within that 8-year time period, we'll purge you. But since it's been since 2005, that's given plenty of opportunities for people to come and vote. So that list shrunk. The last list I saw was about 400 voters. So, it's not really a real difficult task for these individuals to go in there and make sure. And all they're going to do is just verify that these individuals haven't voted in the last, 4 major elections. So.
I personally think all 3 of these people are very qualified people, and I'm just going to read their names for the audience. As a Republican, we have Carol Lutz. As a Democrat, Francis Vasquez. And independent, or that did not specify?
He did not specify.
Okay. Ron Henderson, for independent, did not specify a party. And I think those are all 3 quality individuals. So. Yes, sir. Okay. Then we have...
Can we come back up that? Now, do we do any advertising or stuff in the media about that you are going to be purging, or it just happens?
What happened was, I think, last year, the Secretary of State sent out little cards to about 186,000 voters that haven't voted, and anyone that has updated information at the post office as far as a change of address, those automatically get sent out to those individuals, and it gives them opportunity to update their information or say, yes, I want to continue to be on the voter rolls. So there is a little bit of a process that begins at the state level, and then it trickles down into the county where they'll verify and say, hey, this individual did not send back a card saying that they wanted to stay registered, or, they're no longer at this address or at the address that they were given as an alternate.
They get?
Yes.
Okay.
They do receive a notice before they get purged.
All right.
Thank you, Rob. So we'll move on to the appointment of Board of Trustee.
Three letters of interest from Dr. Wachuka, is that how you say that? Dr. Nelson and Shauna McCosh, nurse practitioner. And their letters were in there, and I had Denisha send those out to you ahead of time so you could review those.
Nurses?
No, that was
actually
recommendation.
a letter of
Oh,
recommendation.
that's what that was. Yeah.
So, and that change has been reflected on your agenda.
Looks like two great candidates will have a hard choice.
Yes.
We're not going to do the shooting range.
We will remove item O. Next item, approve, disapprove interested candidates for the Eco Watershed Committee. Interested candidates are as follows: Gabe Ramos, Joseph Mondragon, Gilbert Hilton, Martha Schumann Cooper, Tanya Bowles, Gordon West, Ralph Pope, Glenn Griffin, Alex Ball, Art Tejas, Michael Dubell, and Gila National Forest, just for discussion purposes.
How many do you normally have on that committee?
Nine?
Did Art Diaz actually put in a letter?
Who?
Okay, there's an Art Diaz. I hadn't seen that one for some reason.
Yes, he has one.
And because the Foresters requested to have somebody on, but as a non-voting member.
So it would be 9, not including them?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Let's just keep them on as a member, just not a non-voting member.
So actually, Art Tejas is the Gila National Forest.
Yes.
Oh, so those go together?
Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And all these gentlemen have really been good about participating, so we really want to try and keep these individuals
Has
together.
Mick been on it?
Actually, I have 10.
He just requested this last time. He's been attending all the meetings, but he hasn't been on it.
So you have 10 letters of interest and you have
Yes.
0.9.
4.9.
And Tanya, is she on it?
She sure is.
I find her to be a breath of fresh air in this community.
She's been really good. I mean, pretty much everyone on this board has been really good. We're working really well together. It just seems the more meetings we have, the better information we're getting. It's really coming together.
Good.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a tough choice.
Yes, sir.
Move to 2.
Next item, appoint board representative to the Southwestern New Mexico Energy and Green Jobs Task Force Board. I included the information from Mary Stucker in regards to this. There was a resolution that the commission passed in, I believe it was in last year. And there would be directors from different local government entities, so the county would need to appoint a board representative to this board.
Who's doing it currently?
It's not being done currently. Right, Anthony? You want to explain a little more about it? You've been involved in this from its inception.
Wow.
Mr. Chairman, originally the task force was done by Senator Bingaman's office, and they did a strategic plan. Part of the strategic plan is to have Office of Sustainability a more structured way of implementing green energy and green jobs within Grant County, trying to get those type of companies and marketing into the area. And so now they're just kind of doing a little bit more formally. They're organizing the board so they can have a little bit more structure to what they're doing for implementation of the plan. They didn't want to have an executive director for a Office of Sustainability without having a board to oversee it to make sure that they did what they needed to do. So it's been about 4 years in the working. The strategic plan is actually a good plan. It includes our economic development master plan in the plan, and so they're just trying to move forward and trying to implement some things that they had recommendations for on the strategic plan. But yeah, I've been working with them for about 5-6 years now.
It makes total sense that we appoint you, but on the other hand, I sit here and I think about all the things you're doing, and I'm not sure you have time to commit yourself to more meetings. So I'm going to ask the manager and yourself to come up with a plan on what we're going to do with this. So I think you're spread a little thin to begin with.
Yeah, sometimes.
Maybe somebody in your office, or
actually, Alicia has been involved probably a little bit more at the beginning than in the past, and I can certainly speak with her. She's aware of what they've been doing and potentially could be that.
Names today, but if you guys can get together in the next couple of days and give us a recommendation, I think that'd be prudent.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Moving on to contracts and agreements. Item R, approve, disapprove agreement A15-02, agreement between ASA Architects and Grant County for architectural services. This is the contract as a result of the bids we awarded at the last regular meeting when we awarded to Architectural Workshop and ASA. So this is just the approval of their agreement.
Okay.
Any questions on that one?
Mr. Shelton?
Yes, sir. Next item is approve, disapprove agreement A1503, agreement between Architectural Workshop LLC and Grant County for architectural services. Same bid, awarding to the second firm. And this would be Kevin Robinson.
We have the top two firms in our RFP, and
Yes.
we're awarding contracts to those.
Yes. Next item, T, approve, disapprove agreement A1504, Grant County DWI Program and New Mexico Department of Health Assurances and Cooperative Agreement. This is the standard cooperative agreement that the county enters into each year for the DWI programs.
I thought you were nodding your head like you wanted to say something.
No, I had told Charlene, there's 4 attachments, 4 other attachments to the budget part, and the resolution, the statement of assurances, the MOU, and assurances and cooperative agreement. Those are all standard that have to go every year. They're attached, that have nothing to do with they're not budget, they're not money, but they have to be attached to my grant application, saying that, for the ADE stuff, for the HIPAA regulations, for information exchange, all those have to be. And then, of course, the resolution is saying you agree that we will apply for that money.
Okay. I just saw you nod your head. I thought you had something to say, so I called you out. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Item U would be one of the other items, which is approve, disapprove agreement A1505, Grant County DWI Program and New Mexico Department of Finance, memorandum of understanding, the other document that she just mentioned that's required to be attached to her application. Next item will be the new addition to the agenda, which will be identified as Agreement A-1506 between Grant County and Santander for the lease purchase of an ambulance for Gila Regional Medical Center. Mr. Hobbs, do you want to briefly describe what it is that you're doing?
Your mic's not on, the little white button up front. There you go. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Board, thank you for the opportunity to be able to present to you today a great opportunity, not just for Gila Regional as an organization, but the citizens of Grant County. As of October the 9th, I was assigned a new director's position of EMS from being in the field for 22 years. With that, I've been assigned the task to improve EMS in a productive and an innovative way. Through my assessment, we've done a few changes. As this last year, January, we had out-of-town transfers of 9. This year, we've done 32 transfers, and it's increasing. Our call volumes are anywhere from 300 to 350 a month. We're already looking at almost 1,000 calls for this year. Our average is about 3,000 to 3,500 for the whole year. With that, it is costing more to do the out-of-town transfers. There is a lot of maintenance costs that we're accruing. Our last unit, Unit 2800, for the year it's acquired 4,600, I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't have the exact amount, but around $4,600 in maintenance fees. And approximately 81% of that has been in the past 3 months. So we kind of see a trend that's starting up that eventually we're going to have a catastrophic problem with our truck. Right now, we don't have the funds currently to be able to purchase an ambulance. Being in the new position, I was a little late on the Fund Act, which is a special projects grant, and it had to be approved January. And we were able to get that application in, therefore we don't have those extra funds. We do have money available in the county fire fund or the excise tax, and we have some money available with the Fund Act from the previous year. Right now we have $86,540 available to spend on what we need for our needs for the hospital. As far as the trends for the past 2012, we've had $32,000. 2013 was $48,000 from the fire. And for 2014 we had $43,000, and then 2015 $41,000 and change. So basically what we're looking at doing is doing a lease purchase. We did talk with the Phoenix Group, which they have an ambulance that they brought to us in 3 days after requesting an assessment of an ambulance. So it's sitting in our bays right now. The ambulance is $137,000, $760. And since then, with the agreement, we wanted to get into a lease agreement with Integrative Leasing. They do ambulance leasing. They did it for Silver City Fire Department and as well as TRC. They do use the Houston Galveston contract, so there won't have to be a bidding process. Since then, I've done a little bit more research. I actually found another ambulance that is cheaper for us and meets our needs for about $124,000. What we'd like to do is use a portion of the fire fund money, about $40,000 as a down payment on the ambulance that we're going to be looking at possibly purchasing, and then using those funds every year from then on to make the lease purchase or the payments. After 5 years of the agreement, the ambulance will be ours, and we pay $1 to the finance company, and it'll be ours as Gila Regional. It will be financed by the fire funds, but it will remain in Gila Regional's possession, and we'll maintain all maintenance and anything else that we need to support it. If you have any questions.
Yes, when you first started making your presentation, you talked about increase of services and such, and I would like to, if you could, get that to our manager, and so we could review that further, unless you have copies for us now.
No, I don't have it on a chart format.
Without going into it now, I would like to have that in hand so that maybe in a later meeting we could discuss what is going on, because that's quite a jump.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you do that for us, I'd appreciate it, and just give it to our manager, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Appreciate you shopping around.
Bids?
Next item is the bid award for the Sheriff's Office Evidence Vault. We received 4 responses from Timberland Construction, AIC, General Contractors, C&E Industrial, and Sackatone Construction. The apparent low bidder is Timberland Construction in the amount of $456,467.23. And that is the architect's recommendation, is to award to the low bidder. Yes, they were. Any questions or comments? Okay.
Didn't we do business with Timberland before?
Yes, we did. They did the Wind Canyon fire station for Tyrone. Next will be resolutions. Item W in your book, approve, disapprove resolution R-1506, a request for state to transfer a building located at 214 North Black Street to Grant County. I don't know if you want to explain that, or Abby?
This is I think it was Children, Youth, and Families put on Grant County property. Do you have the year, Abby? You know anything about it?
When they built it, gosh, it was about 50 years ago. It was a long time ago. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it was so long ago.
Could be more.
I thought it was in the
Even
70s,
longer.
but it could have been.
I was thinking around 50 years, but I can't remember offhand.
But anyway,
it was quite a while.
they built it on Grant County property, and once we started reading the agreement between Grant County and the state when they built a building on Grant County property, there was actually a reversion clause in it, and we've been leasing that building for a nominal fee, like $5 a year since they moved out. But there's no reason to even spend that, because realistically they were supposed to give us that building. So I met with Secretary Burkle in September and showed him all the documentation, and so that's where this came from.
So, the assessor is working with us and providing an appraisal for us, and I guess he's had a chance to look at it, and he's just writing something up for us now.
They're actually going to be in town at GSD with General Services Department with, what's the under department?
Facilities?
Facility Management. Going to be here next Tuesday to go through the building too and make sure that it's exactly what we thought it was. And so I think this is moving ahead.
Clean it up, Chris.
Oh, that's a good, they will be here Tuesday to look at it. So Tuesday afternoon sometime, just be expecting Liz Jeffries from Property Control is the word I was looking for.
Good to know when the landlord's coming. Good to know when the landlord's coming.
Don't make it look too good. They'll want more money.
Yeah.
Next item in your books, item Y. Approve, disapprove resolution R-1507, authorizing the county to submit an application to the Department of Finance and Administration, Local Government Division, to participate in the local DWI grant and distribution program. This is the final component of the application for the DWI funding.
And then we'll go into the Grant County Indigent Health Plan Claims Board.
Yes, you have approve, disapprove an indigent burial certificate for Terrazas Funeral Chapels dated February 11th for approval. And also for your consideration is the health plan claims from the month ending January 31st, 2015. And those are in your book for approval. The total on those, there was 127 claims for $91,086.32.
That's for December and January?
Yes.
Okay. And then we would stand for county reports, but today if you'll indulge me just a little bit, I need to go clear my head just a little bit. Got a little head cold, I guess. So if it'd be all right to take a 5-minute recess?
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Thank you. Call back to order the Board of County Commissioners work session, February 24th, 2015. Next item on the agenda is county reports. Mr. Cunningham, you have a report today for the hospital? Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I have quite a few items on my list, but they're all short. I'd like to start out with an update on the finances, and just as a reminder, this is from December, so these are December financials. We ended the month of December with a negative $63,000, not really unexpected for the month of December, with lots of vacations and those kinds of things. It was the first month of the fiscal year that we had a negative bottom line. But year to date, we are still at $1.1 million positive. And as of the end of December, we're 149 days in cash. So cash is good, finances are good. I do want to point out, though, that fiscal year 2015 for Gila Regional is much different than 2014. In 2014, our focus was cleaning up systems and processes and doing all that re-engineering. That was a major part of the $10 million turnaround in fiscal year 14. We needed to do that to create some space, some breathing room, and a financial cushion to do the things that we also needed to do, which was to rebuild some critical infrastructure areas. We've had a project sitting on our books for the last 4 years, which is the upgrade of our entire electronic medical record system. This is a extremely complex, probably the largest project Gila Regional's done in many, many years. So it's extremely complex and a lot of cost involved. And also with our growing physician practice network, a lot of expense is going into these big projects and quite a few others. But I wanted to make sure that the commissioners knew that 2014 was to clear the space to do these big infrastructure projects that we have needed to do for quite a few years. So we're pretty confident that we'll end this year with a positive bottom line, which is a real feat and a compliment to our board and our caregivers because of all the expensive activity that's happening this year. Moving from finances, a couple quick updates. We had our annual board elections, and all of our officers were re-elected, and that's as our chairman was Charles Kelly, vice chair Pam Archibald, and secretary-treasurer was Jeremiah Garcia. Our medical staff also held their elections, and the new chief of staff is Dr. Corey. He replaces Dr. Wachuku. Our Vice Chief of Staff remains Dr. Williams, and our new Secretary-Treasurer is Dr. Troxler, and she replaces Dr. Lash, and we just appreciate all the service that Dr. Wachuku and Dr. Lash provided over the years. Just as a couple quick updates, we have several months ago, about 4 months ago, due to lots of feedback from our community about the cost of our air ambulance, we did an RFP and decided to go in a different direction with a company called Tri-State. We've been with them for about 3 or 4 months, and we've decided at this point to move back to Native Air with the contract for a right of first refusal. And in general, the reason behind that is when you do a transition of a major service such as that, you expect certain, transition activities and certain glitches in activity, and there's a period of time where, that's obviously understood and acceptable, but we've had a couple delays in care beyond the period of time where we think we should have had things ironed out. We wish Tri-State very well. We will continue to use them as an organization. If Native Air is tied up on another transport, we use multiple air ambulance companies right now, and we will in the future. But we're moving towards changing that right of first refusal agreement back to a company that we've worked with for the last 10 years, and that is Native Air, and that was effective as of previous Monday. Family practice startup with Dr. Stanley and our nurse practitioner Cindy Moreno is on target, and they're due to open up March 2nd. So in another week, Gila Regional will be in the family practice partnership business. That growing physician practice is really important to Gila Regional's future, and of course, the way we're designing it, it will also support our other physicians in town, and of course, our patients in our community. We're in the early phases still of assessing some space up in the hospital related to our labor and delivery area and our recovery room in our OR, and so we got another 6 months on assessing that. I just wanted to update you occasionally before we move in and decide, construction and how much and all that, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. Our physician practice, I want to bounce back to a second. As we grow our physician practices, right now we have 4 or 5 physician practices. We have cardiology, pain management, psychiatry, surgery, and now family practice. As we bring on more practices, there's a growing complexity with managing physician practices. We've done a lot of research and had some initial dialogues with our board, and I also updated our county manager and our county attorney that we're looking at most probably establishing all of our physician practices as separate LLCs underneath the hospital's not-for-profit umbrella. They would be not-for-profit LLCs. We're still involved with some assessment with our board, but I wanted to update the commissioners that we're looking at all the pros and cons. There's very few cons, and we'll be bringing more information, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up that we're looking at that. It doesn't change the relationship in any way, and it's obviously perfectly acceptable from a business standpoint, and it's legally allowed. The last update that I have is about our Government Relations Committee. Obviously, we're actively involved in monitoring and providing information for our legislators about a number of activities that impact the hospital, and the one that we are obviously jointly focused on is the evolving safety net care pool discussions, and I think we're well aware of the latest proposal at this point. I'm not sure how far that proposal is going to go, and we just want the county to continue to know that we support the county's positions on these issues. The hospital's stance, the Hospital Association has their own stance. We stand independently as a county hospital, and our goal is to serve the needs of this community, and in order to do that, obviously, we need support, and we will support the county in moving through that process.
Are you referring to 655?
Yes.
I think it's a message bill.
That's quite possible, yes.
A message bill, or at least maybe if it's not that, then it's probably a placeholder. It may be something worse when it's finished.
That's what I was saying. It's worse if it don't.
So, any questions?
No.
You answered my list. You had everything on my list, so
All right.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your support.
You bet. Mr. Bolt, do you have a report today for Health Council?
She scared me this morning.
First, along those lines, I'd like to apologize to Commissioner Hall. He's in my phone. There are 2 Ron H's. He sounds exactly like Ron Hale from the Alliance of Health Councils. So I started talking about some things I'll update you on in a minute. And it's, what in heaven's name are you talking about? But we were talking about the same amount of money. As soon as he said capital, I knew, wrong. But good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to report for the Grant County Community Health Council. First, we would like to thank the commissioners and particularly Chairman Caston for your support for our bills in the legislative session this time around. Where things stand, your letter really does make a difference. Your voices make a difference. We send out continual updates to our Health Council. Anybody that is so moved to please call your legislators, please, that are on the Senate Finance Committee, please feel free to do so. We appreciate any support we can get. Right now, where things stand, and this is a very quick update, House Bill 2 has appropriated $200,000 for health councils, way below what we requested, but we knew that was coming. Last year, actually, it was $295,000 through the Department of Health, which is a recurring. This is an additional $200,000. So we're, fingers crossed, everything that can be crossed is crossed. Moving over to the Senate Finance Committee for consideration and hopefully enhancement. That's what we're looking for.
When's he going to Senate Finance, do you know?
That's what I was talking to Mr. Hull about this morning. I have no idea. So I'll hear more about that later today. It will be soon. It will either be today or it may be tomorrow. We'd like to really appreciate Senator Morales for carrying the Senate Bill 79 on that side, and that we know that he will do his best to get an enhancement to that. And we are hoping then that it goes through and there is no veto pen used this year. But again, we just very much appreciate all of the support and the awareness that the county commissioners and the county has for the Health Council as a department of the county. And I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Chris? Thank you, Chris. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike?
Mr. Chairman, committee members, I respectfully submit my report for the reporting period of December 27, 2014 through February 20th of 2015. Item number 1, status remains the same. Item number 2, on the facility and the update, the detention facility, we currently have 1 temporary vacancy. The applicant is being tested, and the backgrounds are being conducted now. We have 2 potential applicants for that position. Item 3, the status remains the same. Under item 4, our training update, department training schedule for this reporting period. Newly hired applicant is starting the FTO program. We have 3 corporals right now, or 3 seconds, that are currently attending first line supervisor training. They just left Sunday, which is good because they're the ones that fill in as supervisors when the sergeants are not there. Our first aid refresher will commence in March for all the officers. I, Deputy Administrator Andazola, and Lieutenant Aguirre attended the New Mexico Association of Counties Crisis Intervention Training for Administrators. And this was a prerequisite for the 40-hour training that the rest of the detention officers are going to acquire when we send them to this training. So we kind of set up the curriculum. That was all the administrators in the state attended this. And we kind of set up the curriculum to fit the detention facility's needs. It was essentially set up for law enforcement. But we kind of changed the curriculums for our needs and for some of the examples and requirements that happen in the detention facilities around the state. So we've got that set up for them. So they will be attending that this month. Our CERT team is going to be attending the DOC, their special response team in Las Cruces. They'll be going next week. We're going to send 7 CERT members. We're going to send 5 of them to the first session and then 2 more after that, so we can make sure that we have the shifts covered. The DOC has agreed to go ahead and do this training for them. They're not going to charge us for the training. We'll train with them alongside, and I guess the caveat to that is once we train with them, we'll know what their movements are. We'll get acquainted with that, so if they have a situation that require our CERT members, we can send them down there. Or if we have an issue, both teams will know what they're doing and they'll be able to work together. So I think it's a win-win situation, and I want to thank the DOC for again providing us with that training at no charge. Item number 5 under our intervention, the inmate support program. It is continuing to progress through the legislative committees right now. The last I heard it's headed for the Senate Finance Committee right now, so they're going to take a look at that. So it is progressing through the committees. Item number 6 on our recognition program, we have a newly hired officer, Ms. Officer Mary Dominguez. If you'll remember, she's only been on for a short time. She's already been nominated as Officer of the Month. And the reason Officer Dominguez has proven to be a dedicated and proficient officer. Officer Dominguez is recognized for her work ethics an attention to detail in working all the post positions. So that's awesome. And it's the first time that we've ever had a newly hired officer acquire this recognition. So she's doing really well, and we kind of hit a home run with her when we hired her. Item number 7 on the detention statistics, average daily population for the month of December 27th through February 20th. Average daily population is 62. That's 22 more than last month. High population males is 61, 8 more than last month. High population females is 15, 6 more than last month. For the month of December 27th through this reporting period, there were 62 inmates, which is 6 more than last reporting period incarcerated in the facilities. And this shows a slight increase. And the average length of stay during this reporting period is 9.58 days. Our monthly arrest totals, item number 8, Silver City Police Department had 131, New Mexico State Police had 7, Grant County SO had 28, Santa Clara had 8, Barrett PD had 10, Hurley PD had 3, Adele Probation had 0, New Mexico Game and Fish had 2, and Western New Mexico University Police had 1. Item number 9 on our facilities, detention facility conducted 25 district court transports. Division 1, we had 34. Magistrate Court Division 1 is 34. Division 2, Magistrate Court had 12. Silver City Municipal Court had 6. Santa Clara had, Municipal Court had 1. Baird Municipal Court had 0. And we had a total of 13 medical transports as compared to 0 in the last reporting period. And I'd like to take this opportunity. There was a total of 91 total transports, but I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the sheriff, his department, and especially his civil division this last couple of months. They've done a great job, Sheriff, and I want to thank you for your support to the detention facility. Please pass that on to your people. They did an awesome job. We had several transports that we had to do within the state that were coming in for the court purposes and stuff, and they really stepped up. They were on the road a long time, and I really do appreciate that support. So would you please pass that on to them and tell them thank you for me.
And critical transports too.
I'm sorry?
Very critical.
Absolutely. These were very critical transports, and they did a wonderful job, so I want to thank you. Item number 10 on the jail utilization and occupancy. The offense levels, we had 48 felonies, 116 probation and warrants, with 116 misdemeanors, and then 257 other probation violations and warrants for a total of 422. Total hours in custodies is 66,752.42 hours. Offense level sentencing show an increase as compared to last month, and part of that reason is because of the length of the reporting period from December to February. That we didn't have there wasn't a meeting there, so I took it from the last reporting period that we had to the February 20th. So that is part of the reason that we had an increase in the reporting for the statistics. And that's all I have.
For Mike?
I don't.
Okay, no. Thanks, Mike. Anthony?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I would like to report that in January we did submit 2 Colonias applications, one for Tyrone ADA compliance with the sidewalks, and another for North Hurley, the construction portion of the roadway that we currently have a planning grant with Engineers Inc. for. The only thing that was actually really surprising was between the drainage plan and the new roadway plan, the estimates came in around $3.2 million. So it's a substantial project. We certainly couldn't apply for all of those funds at one time to the Colonias. So we did have a project at right around $825,000, something like that. So we submitted those applications. Hopefully we can be funded again. We've been lucky that we've had 2 consecutive grant funding applications.
Probably.
We're going to try, actually 3. There'll be 3 different phases that we'll try to apply for. We wanted to try and do 4, but the way that we broke it up into the main intersections and then the roadways on each side of the intersection,
too many phases, and it didn't really work well with the drainage plan. And so hopefully we can be funded again. We also are working on right now an application to the Economic Development Association to add to the project at the Business Conference Center. And I had a meeting last week with Priscilla and the district manager for EDA, and it looks pretty promising for some potential funding. And so we're going to try and get that in by the 13th. It's kind of a short time frame, but we've got our architect and myself and Priscilla all working on it, so hopefully we'll get that thing done right away. We also received a grant agreement for Rosedale Road, and I'll be getting with Earl. We do have a lot of in-kind on that project, but we'll also have to potentially go out to bid for the paving portion of it and for the utilities portion of it. So we'll work together to try and get that thing out right away. We also received, of course, the grant agreement for the veterans and their improvements to Baton Park, and so I think that we were waiting to get our architects on board, and we'll get those things going. That group, they're pretty antsy about getting those projects done, so we just wanted to help them out. The only other thing I wanted to report was on the assessment districts. We had 2 applications for assessment districts that the commission agreed to do. The first step for those, we were hoping to get them on today's agenda, but in reading the statute, it calls for that you have to serve the residents within the assessment district in hand 30 days prior to the public hearing. Ray Castillo's he was hired in Dory's position, and he was under understanding that we had to have a public hearing, but he wasn't aware of the requirement to serve those residents 30 days prior. So hopefully we'll get it on either March or probably the beginning of April for that public hearing. And that'll be the next step. So hopefully that'll satisfy the people. We're working on it. It's kind of difficult when you have new employees. We've had a pretty decent transition in our office. Those guys are working pretty hard, but there's a lot to it, and so hopefully we can get a little bit better at it. But anyway, that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
I needed some help on my substance abuse treatment, looking at sites and stuff. They've been great. They've been on target and made copies, and they knew what they were doing. So I appreciate their work in mapping.
The only other thing is, and I forgot to mention it, is I'll be traveling again to Santa Fe tomorrow. The Gila San Francisco Water Commission has requested from the Interstate Stream Commission to be appointed as a CAP entity. The CAP entity is the entity that would actually contract with the Secretary of Interior for design and contract for potential waters from AWSA. So it's pretty complicated. We do have Pete Domenici Jr. as our counsel, and so everything's been working out pretty well, and we've been moving forward at this point. So I just wanted to mention that. If you want to discuss some other things, some specifics related to that, I certainly will be able to do that, but it'll take till noon to do that, so I think we'll hold it at that.
I spent 2 hours in that meeting. I'm not sure I'm any smarter than I was. You did see where they appointed the Interstate Stream Commission chairman, or director.
The director. Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
I really want to thank you, Anthony. You've really taken the bull by the horns of dealing with the ISC and the Gila San Francisco Water Commission. You represent us very well, and I really do appreciate it. I've been up there in Santa Fe, seeing you fight for us over there too, and I really appreciate what you do, because it's very important and crucial to our area. I know that the real small, loud minority is really fighting on this, so I appreciate you taking those bullets for our county, and keep fighting. We're behind you. Appreciate you.
All our capital outlay got in, right? The capital outlay stuff.
Capital outlay, yes. As far as I know, we're good at capital outlay.
Anything else? All right, Earl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
For the past month, we've been working on an LGF project down there on that CPAR road, installing some 6-foot culverts down there. We should have that wrapped up by tomorrow. As soon as it warms up, we'll get back to patching. I've got some complaints on it, but I've been kind of waiting on the weather and then plus finishing that job down there. We've been cross-training a truck driver and another blade operator to help us out down there. I did go to a meeting, I think it was last Tuesday night, on that bridge that's getting ready to take place down there on 90. I think they're getting ready to start. The last I heard was April 1st. And then the second week of April, they're supposed to start the construction. But there was a lot of concern about traffic. It's going to be kind of going everywhere for a while till people kind of, I know they're going to try and figure out the quickest route for them to get places and stuff. One of the concerns was Market Street, about traffic going down through there, especially commercial traffic. So I did order a sign to put up there on top that won't allow any commercial trucks to go down through there. I guess they had one get down through there and got hung up down there, which is pretty easy to do in a semi-truck. So I got that taken care of. If it gets to worse, depending on what's going to happen with the traffic, we might have to make that a one-way, at least during the construction of that bridge, to help alleviate traffic. Because like I said, there's going to be residents trying to go every direction, whatever's going to be quicker for them. On there, there is going to be a lot more traffic on Truck Bypass Road. The Sheriff's Department might have to go out there and patrol that, at least during the peak hours, especially while school's going on. Ridge Road's going to be a mess, trying to get in and out of there, because you're going to have to go left or straight across the street right there. People are just going to have patience, especially when baseball starts. There's going to be just a tremendous lot of traffic. Well, they think by January.
300 and something days.
Yeah, the bridge work has got to be done in 210 days, and then it's got to be opened up, but the whole thing's going to be a little bit longer, but on there, but
I'll mark that 210 days down on my calendar.
I'm sure they're going to try and get it done, because I'm sure there's probably a pretty hefty fine if they don't get it done in that 210 days.
Question, Bypass Road, it's going to get just beat to crap. Are they going to give us any dispensation to take care of that?
I've got an agreement with the state, actually during the construction. I've got a signed agreement that they're going to maintain it during the life of that project, and then when it's done, they're supposed to put a 2.5 to 3 inch overlay on the whole thing.
Think we can get some shoulders at the same time?
I don't know. We'll see.
Strong arm.
We'll see.
I've seen you in action.
Well, I've got a lot of millings laying around that would sure work for those shoulders. If I can come up with some money to get those millings processed. And there's a bunch stacked out there at the airport.
There is.
Earl, I'd like to see us strongly request that they slow down the speed limit on that intersection. I believe the state has been contacted, and I know their engineering department stated they didn't want to lower that speed limit over there on the Highway 180 and the bypass road. So I would like to strongly recommend that we request from them to slow it down. It's at 55, and there's already been accidents with the way things are now. Now we're going to pile up the traffic in that area and not slow down that traffic.
There shouldn't be any traffic coming from, or very little coming from town on that road.
Yeah, it's the people coming from Cliff that the residents were worried about.
The other way.
And they actually recommended, the residents would like to see a turning lane put in that thing, but the state didn't act like they kind of wanted to do it. They said that they want to kind of play it by ear. But they will have to, I'm sure, have to lower that traffic, the speed limit for that traffic.
What about a four-way stop, since there's actually no traffic going into town?
I don't know.
I mean, just throwing it out there.
Just something for safety, because, I mean, if one person gets killed in that place, we're going to really regret it.
Yeah, I mentioned to them, too, I've got the engineer and the project manager's information, too, because I mentioned to them also that I'd like to see that speed limit lowered going down off the hill before you get to Western Drive, because the school buses do stop in that area too, and those people come flying.
You're talking about on Market Street?
No, on Truck Bypass Road itself.
Oh, okay.
At least until school's out, and then they can raise it back up.
Okay.
Yeah, raise it back up. But like I say, it's kind of going to be a mess.
But isn't that the truck bypass is under us, right? So but we would have to do the engineering plan and everything to lower that, or can we just do that on an emergency
No,
basis?
I think during the construction part, and actually, they thought they already had it in the plans to have that speed limit lowered.
Because I know like out at Cliff, we lower those speed limits on those county roads on an emergency basis during the fair. I don't know why we couldn't.
We should be able to do it during that
I don't know
construction.
why Abby wouldn't let us pass an ordinance to lower it and just beg for forgiveness if we're wrong.
Did they pass that bill that had to do with county roads 75 to 55?
It's gone through one house, I believe, or at least a committee. I'm not really paying much attention to that because I think it'll go through. However, it didn't last year, so.
Yeah. But I think you hit it on the head. It's going to take a lot of patience and people being cautious and passing information off to the different entities so that then, if in fact we need to contact the state, that we can, and working together as a community to do it, because that's what it's going to take. There's going to be some things that they haven't foreseen that we're going to have to look at, and just be careful.
That's true. I mean, the sooner they can get in, get it done, the better off everybody's going to be. But like I said, from now till January, it's going to be a mess for a while.
The woman I live with is going to drive from Hanover to Harrison Smith every day, and the happier she is, the happier I am.
Yep.
So I got a feeling about another year I'm going to be.
You may look like me.
Excuse me, Randy?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and on that note, just lead into it, Rural Fire Chiefs Association met with Silver Fire last night at our meeting and went over some of the emergency responses that will be taking place and how we, don't make an incident within an incident, as far as sirens going off, depending on the type of emergency it is. We're going to try to work with them. We're going to try to have them also use the Wind Canyon Station for maybe staging a apparatus out there or something. Just working on trying to see how, with the amount of traffic, we don't want to just start blaring sirens and going down, those types of roads with the amount of traffic we're going to have at certain times of the day. So we talked about that a lot. So I want to thank Chief Tim Hydrick for that, getting with us, getting with Whiskey Creek, especially. I know Mr. Hobbs has probably met with them as well as far as what they're going to do as far as ambulances and all that. It's going to be pretty hectic, and so I think the people just need to realize that there are public hearings, there are public meetings. I think they're going to have them either here at the conference center through the project, at least when they can. So I just encourage the public to attend those meetings. If you want to know what's going on, attend those meetings so that you know there's going to be different road signages, as Earl had mentioned. It's going to be, lower speed limits. So everybody's just going to have to work together on the emergency side as well as the public. Let's see, in saying that, we're from the fire side, we had a kind of small fire in the forest last Wednesday. Human cause probably, don't know that for sure. PA assisted the Forest Service in that. So again, we're getting into the wildland fire season now, earlier and earlier every year. So we're well equipped and we're trained, and we just want to make sure that people are diligent. I left some material at the stand over here on, vehicles and different types of, weed eaters that could spark a fire. So I want people just to be diligent with that, know what they're doing, and just make sure that they do it safe. From a legislative standpoint, we're looking at, from the fire side, House Bill 474, which is trying to take some of the money away from the Fire Protection Grant Fund, which helps us purchase apparatus. The watershed restoration project, they're trying to take money out of that, and it's a small percentage at the beginning, but as they go through, it'll end up in 10 years about 36% out of a $4 million fund that it's for statewide fire departments to apply for grant money for apparatus and firefighting equipment. So we're kind of against that. The hearing was supposed to be Friday morning at 8:30, but now I hear it's tomorrow. So just going to get calls into our legislatures and make sure that they understand where we're going with that. And State Fire Marshal's office opposes it, and they just want as much support as they can get on that. From the airport, we're working really hard at the airport. Got some small projects going on out there. Fuel's going well. We had an issue with the fuel truck. Hopefully we're going to rectify that in the next couple of days, I hope. airport lounge had some paint and stuff done to it, so we're working on that. Been talking with Justin in the Forest Service. As you know, fire season's going to start. They're going to have a seat, what they call a seat, which is an airplane, out there. We want to make sure that we could provide them fuel. They did agree to purchase the fuel from us. Boutique Air, that's the avgas. The Jet A is being purchased by Boutique now, and we're doing good. We're on our third field already in the 12,000-gallon tank. So everything's working well. I want to thank Justin and his crew. They're really working hard, to try to help us out there. James and Dave out there too as well, putting a lot of time in for us, especially now that we are doing the field. And so I want to thank them. Other than that, that's really all I have for a report. I just want to give you we finished the project over at the shooting range. They're using that now. Now I know you're going to go through a new board now. We're going to work closely with them. And that's all I have. Conference center just being used consistently, and so that's going to come to an end shortly. So, and unless you have any other questions, that's all I have.
I do have a question.
There at the airport, I've been contacted by a couple pilots, and they stated they had a pilot lounge at one time. I guess that was being removed.
No.
Is that no? Okay. Okay, good. That's why I was asking.
It's being
renovated
to it, yeah, and some painting.
And so they can all utilize it.
Yes.
All the pilots. Okay, good. Okay.
We're going to have something in place. I know there's been a lot of misinformation out there about it. Right now, it's just because the fact is we're working in there, and so it is down. But there'll be a place for people to sit and do whatever they have to do, and we have people in there right now, but obviously with the stuff that we're doing. But I don't think it's going to be an issue as we move forward.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just a comment, going back to the bypass road, you may want to think, as the fire department does on Hudson Street, the Silver City Fire has a flashing light, depending on how much traffic you have, so whenever they do have a call and need to come out, they'll stop all the traffic. You understand what I'm saying?
No, sir.
The fire department on Hudson Street, whenever they get a call, they have flashing red lights on that street, it stops all the vehicles, so they can come out. It's a safety issue. Something to think about.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Linda, are you complete? Do you have anything further? Okay, we'll move over to the sheriff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, I wanted to give you a report of our 2014 stats. As you guys are aware, we've been extremely busy this last year, last couple of months even. For 2014, we had a total of 5,435 calls for service. We did take 1,504 reports requiring with different calls, which is a 7% increase from last year. So our crime has been pretty steady. We've been having a lot of more violent crime in the county. We've been diligently working on that and resolving a lot of our issues that are going on. In regards to our Civil Process Division, they've also been extremely busy with a lot of the dealings of the transports, mainly the transports. Because of the violent crime we've had to transport violent offenders out of the county into the prisons. And I thank the prisons for accepting some of our people we've been dealing with that aren't actually sentenced yet. They've been housing them for us. But in our Civil Process Division, for 2014, the division has done 52,375 miles in just transports, back and forth to the prisons. We've served, in 2014, we served 6,879 papers, which includes DVOs, notices, subpoenas, summons. The Civil Division has done a total of 118 transports round trip from prisons to the local jail to courts. A lot of it has to do with our juveniles. We don't have a juvenile facility here. We've been dealing with a lot of juveniles having to be transported out of Grant County. Luna County is full. Doña County is full. We've been having to go to Gallup. We have an agreement with Silver City to help us with some of them. But now that they're going to Gallup, they're starting to back off a little bit because it takes a lot of time and manpower to transport up to Gallup. So we've been having to do quite a bit of those. So I really want to thank my staff for what they've done. They've been extremely busy, and without them, it'd be pretty hectic. They've stepped up quite a bit for a lot of what's been happening. So, other than that, I want to thank Charlene for being available. Thank you. The other thing, finally our vault, I look forward to that being done. It's going to make life a little bit easier for us. So thank you guys for pushing that, and hopefully, now my only concern is going to be our parking, our spot out here. As you guys know with the weather, we're in a dirt area and it's been very muddy with just us. Now my concern is with the equipment coming in and out. I don't know what it's going to turn to out there, so I'm hoping that we can somehow get some help to get it paved or do something to help with the traffic that's going to be coming in. So,
I thought we'd be able to get all that done at the same time, but wasn't to be.
Right. Other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions for the sheriff? Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, just like to report that I did serve on the New Mexico Edge Curriculum Review Committee for the Treasury Official Certification, and we went through all the classes that are required to be taken, reviewed to make sure that they're actually information that we need in our daily operations. Some of the courses were changed and so on and so forth. So, and then you've got your report that I've given you. Since November through December 23rd, we collected $3,621,000. There's still $2,046,000 out there for us to collect as part of the county's portion. And even though it looks like since the last report, the 5th of January, that we've only collected $131,000, it still keeps us busy, and we're doing a lot of other things that we're going to ask for a little help with. We're working with the assessor's office in locating a lot of these mobile homes that have been delinquent for a number of years. As you may or may not be aware of, our affiliate has worked with the Motor Vehicles Division to where the Treasurer's offices are now authorized to record liens directly with the Motor Vehicles Division. And we found a glitch that they didn't realize existed. Normally when a lien is recorded on a mobile home, the DMV their computer is supposed to generate a letter to the mortgage holder and the owner to let them know that the lien has been placed on the mobile home. And their system hadn't been working, and we caught that as part of the activities through the Treasurer's affiliate, and that's now been corrected, so we're getting a lot of response from that. But we still need to, and like I said, we're working with the assessor's office to go out and verify that some of these mobile homes actually are still out there. We're finding a high percentage of supposedly recorded and assessed mobile homes that don't exist. At least we haven't been able to locate them, so we're trying to track that down to see what exactly is going on with that. So, and that's been keeping us pretty busy, and so that's all I have to report. Unless you
any questions for Steve? No, thank you very much, Steve. Rob, you got anything today?
I don't, Chairman, Commissioners, just business as usual in the office, just getting ready for that purge. It'll happen March 9th. So.
Bills in the legislature dealing with the voter convenience centers. Do you have anything to say about that?
Not at this point. We're just going to let, I know that Senator Morales is doing a memorial to have some money set aside to look into seeing if they're actually working or if anything that he feels we're shrinking them down, not letting enough people. But I think that, when you administer a election, there's a lot that goes into it, not just finding a place that seems suitable to vote. You have to have ADA compliance, you have to be able to have internet there. There's a lot of things that go into finding a place where we can have a voter convenience center. We're going to be faced with that here coming up pretty shortly, because the conference center is one of our biggest and best locations for one, and that's going to be shut down for us for a little while. So we're going to have to find alternative places. We're going to have our, probably by the primary, I don't think we'll be done by the primary in June of next year. It'll be close. It'll be close.
What prime,
2000.
Yeah, we should be done right at that time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cutting it close. Yeah, so I think for the primary at least, we'll find an alternate or two locations for
what we'll do is we'll try to work with the architect to have a portion of it done.
Yeah.
Or at least inhabitable. It's not done.
Yeah.
Something we hadn't even thought about. That's why we should start in July.
The county clerk from Catron County was here last week looking at our Tyler system. They're maybe looking to switch it over, and we were talking a little bit about it. And the way we feel, the way he and I felt, is that when people want to vote, they're gonna vote. There isn't any obstacle that's gonna put you in. There's no obstacle in your way to vote. There's early voting for 28 days prior to the election. You can vote on election day. We can send you an absentee application to your home or wherever. Every election we're sending, every major election we're sending ballots to Mexico, to Europe. We're sending them all over the world. So there isn't any obstacles that'll put you in between your right to vote and to actually get you to vote on the election day. So for people out there to say that, there's not enough places to go vote, you're shrinking them down, I don't really believe that that's fair. If somebody wants to vote, they're gonna vote. Sometimes things do come up. If you've waited for the very last minute, something may come up, and unfortunately things like that happen in life, not just for voting, but there's plenty of opportunities to cast a vote. And to say that we're shrinking them down or not having enough places to go vote on the election day, or to, we have the 28 days prior to an election to either get your ballot sent to your home or you to come in to vote in our office. So it's not really fair to say that, that we're losing places to vote on the election day when we're really not. There's plenty of opportunities to vote. And the one thing that I have trouble getting are election workers on election day. Our pool is shrinking. We depend on a lot of people that are retired to do this. Some people don't, their employers don't let them take a day off to go do this, which I don't understand why they wouldn't. It's a civic duty, I believe. But maybe sometime along the way, maybe I'll have to talk to the senator and we'll just, draw up something that maybe we can do it where it's like jury duty, something that has to be done by somebody. We just put you on a list, and if you don't show up, we'll fine you or something. Because if we go the route of making too many places with not enough workers, then it puts the people that actually run the election in a bind.
Well, thank you for expounding on that. I appreciate it. Charlene, you got anything today?
Things. I just wanted to announce that Jacob Zamora, he passed his exam to be a certified public procurement officer. That was a piece of legislation that passed, I think, year before last, that required every governmental entity to have a certified officer, and he took a class offered by the state online, and he passed that. So we are now in compliance with that. He did it very quickly and passed with flying colors, so I'm proud of him. Just staying really busy. We have several projects taking off all at the same time. Work on the conference center, Commissioner Hall's substance abuse center, and then we will have an architect start very soon on working on the courthouse and those renovations, so that will keep me extremely busy, along with watching over 100 pieces of legislation that actually will affect the county in one way or the other. The list just keeps getting bigger. Well, not anymore, but there's plenty on there. And I wanted to say thank you. I've been here almost 6 months, a couple weeks shy of that, and I just wanted to thank the elected officials, the directors, the staff in my office, you guys. You've made the transition very easy, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner? Well, just wanted to congratulate our local wrestling teams from Cobre and Silver. Silver took second at state and Cobre took third as a team. And I think that is just excellent that they represent our area so well. We also had some state champs. We had individual state champions from Cobre. We had Eric Morales, Robert Rodriguez, and Randy Minus. And from Silver, we had Sean DeBiscus. And to win state, it's just pretty an awesome feeling for these kids. And I'm glad that the community supports them. I also wanted to mention that there's a Cobre Silver Basketball District Championship game tonight, and it's going to be down in Deming, yes, Deming High School. So anybody who wants to go out and cheer your team on, I think it'd be great to go down to Deming and check this out.
It's going to be a good ball game.
It is. The last two have been great.
The last one was good. So.
Yeah, the last two games have been great. We also have been participating real well with the Eco Watershed groups, and things are moving real well. Our Parks and Recs group that I chair also is really moving forward on a lot of issues. Our SWACA group, our Southwest County Commission group, is really working hard on different issues also. It's been something to go to Santa Fe and work with Anthony and different individuals that are up there trying to accomplish things with our representatives over in Santa Fe. It's been a real good experience, and hopefully we can continue to push things that are affecting our counties and stop things that are affecting our counties also. It's been a real good experience, and we've done a lot since the last meeting, and it's not like just because we don't have a meeting doesn't mean that our job stops. But that's basically all I've got, sir.
Okay. Commissioner? I think I'm going to go ahead and defer till Thursday to do mine.
The way I feel, I'm not sure I'll be here Thursday. So, you guys know I've been up the legislature some this year. It's been really, really slow. The only bill that's passed both houses is HB 1. That's the feed bill that pays for the session. Last Thursday, we were halfway through. That ended the ability to introduce any more legislation. It's just been extremely slow. There is, like the manager said, probably 100 pieces. I hadn't counted them, but they're just not going anywhere. I've never seen it quite like this. They all have a new dynamic with a Republican House and a Democratic Senate. They're all trying to figure out how to appease the other one into maybe passing something. So just to reiterate on Charlene's report, and I appreciate you thanking everybody for making the transition easy. I just have one thing to say. I think that you were one that made the transition easy, and I appreciate that. On a personal note, I have a little bit of good news. My daughter Zoe was admitted to the NMSU UNM Cooperative Pharmacy Program, which conditionally admits her to the Doctor of Pharmacy program at UNM. She got her letter last night and she was ecstatic. And I personally want to thank Gila Regional Medical Center and Silver City Rexall for allowing her to shadow pharmacists this last year. She didn't do it as often as I wanted her to, but she did it apparently enough that she could answer the questions properly in her interview. So thank you very much, Brian, and would you let everybody up there know that we got the good news last night. And I guess at this time we need to go into executive session unless anybody has seconds.
I do have one more thing. If we can have Denisha draw up a proclamation for and declare Grant County Wrestling Champ Week the week after the next meeting, that'd be great.
Yeah, if we can invite them in the first meeting in March, that'd be great.
And prepare some congratulations certificates for them, what have you. Thank you.
Okay. Can I get a motion to move into executive session?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Rob, can you do a roll call?
Commissioner Ramos, are you aware that you'll be entering into executive session?
Yes, sir, I am.
Chairman Caston, are you aware that you'll be entering into executive session?
I am.
Commissioner Hall, are you aware that you'll be into executive session?
Yes. We're now in executive session.